every day I come to work. Um, it doesn't feel like a job to me. I enjoy being on the air. I enjoy being program director here. Um, and even though that things have changed in broadcasting dramatically in the time that I've been on the air, at the end of the day, it's still broadcasting.
Hi, Steve. Welcome to the Meetup spot, sir.
Oh, welcome! Thank you, Nigel. I appreciate it.
And yeah, seriously though, can't believe that you're a, proud Oilers fan right here, right there in British Columbia.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see behind me. I have an Oilers kind of here. I'll pull it off the wall for you.
Thanks.
There we go. Where's the camera? There we go.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I don't know anything about hockey, but knowing that I'm based in Edmonton, I will always wholeheartedly support the Oilers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've been living in British Columbia here, I guess, for the last 31 years, but
Ooh.
always a proud Oilers fan. My dad and I had season tickets back in the day for a few years, and always been my team. Always will continue to be my team, and you don't take those allegiances lightly, I guess, at the end of the day. So.
Nice. All right. Okay, Steve, tell me about yourself and your growing up story.
Sure. So I grew up in Spruce Grove, just west of Edmonton, and kind of developed a love of broadcasting, but also journalism, I guess. And so when I was in school, I kind of thought for a bit, I thought, well, maybe I'll become a newspaper writer. Maybe I'll get into sports. I was always heavy into sports. But as I got older, into junior high and high school, I started developing a love of radio and broadcasting and listened to a lot of Edmonton stations, top 40 stations, 630 Ched back in
Chad?
the day. I used to listen to K97, K-Light, which I think, yeah, I don't even know what K-Light is now, Capital FM, I think.
No, the
But
breeze.
anyways, yeah, yeah, okay, there you go. So yeah, I really got into I loved the thought of being the guy on the radio, the guy that was talking over songs, talking between songs, before commercials, that sort of thing. It really stuck with me. And I guess as I graduated high school, I wanted to pursue it as a career. So I went to broadcast school, Columbia Academy of Radio and Television Arts, which no longer exists, but it did in the 80s and the early 90s. And I attended in 1987, 88 after I graduated from high school. And then I got my first job in radio, which was in Peace River. And that was quite a baptism of fire. I did pretty much every shift there from overnights to mornings to middays, afternoons, things on the weekend, covered rodeos and all kinds of events. And I was kind of on my way in the world of broadcasting, I guess.
Hmm, that's nice. And my last year, I've had Sean Burke, who's my first ever guest, and Chris Sheets, who's
Yeah.
guest number eight. They talk about Columbia Academy. Tell me, what's your experience being in Columbia Academy?
Well, it was good. I mean, I think what it does for people is it gives you that opportunity to get your first job, and that's really all you're looking for. Um, I think school is good in that it gives you a starting place to get involved in broadcasting. But I always tell people that you learn more your first 2 weeks in radio than you did the entire year or 2 years that you went to broadcast school. And that's not a slight to the school. The schools are great. They do a great job educating people. Don't get me wrong. But really, when you're getting that first paycheck and you're working and you're encountering things, there's just things that they can't prepare you for. equipment failure, all kinds of different things that they just can't account for at the end of the day. So that education you get, and I would extend that, maybe not even just, I would say maybe your first 2 years in radio, 2 months, 2 years, and I've been doing this for over 38 years now. I still consider myself learning every day. Um, Today is different from yesterday. Yesterday was different from Friday, and just going down the line. Every day is a little different, and you have to prepare for that. And but I love what I do. I feel like every day I come to work. Um, it doesn't feel like a job to me. I enjoy being on the air. I enjoy being program director here. Um, and even though that things have changed in broadcasting dramatically in the time that I've been on the air, at the end of the day, it's still broadcasting. I mean, when I started, the big invention was CDs. Oh my goodness, music is on CD. We don't have to use 45s or carts anymore. But now everything is computerized. Everything is on a computer program, including commercials and liners and music and that sort of thing. And so it certainly has changed dramatically in the 30 plus years that I've been in broadcasting.
That is one heck of a journey. How did you go from Peace River to Cranbrook or Creston?
Okay, well, yeah, so I can tell you that story. So I did a couple of years, 3.5 years to be exact, working in Peace River. And I kind of at that point thought, I don't know if I want to go back to school. I want to try something different. I was considering going to Grant MacEwan in Edmonton. And so I kind of left my position in Peace River for a little bit. But then I had a buddy working in Wainwright, Alberta, and they were signing on a new station called Key 83, all hit country. He said, "Hey, they're looking for an afternoon drive guy. Would you be interested?" And I said, "I don't know if I want to continue in radio or not, or if I want to try something different." But I said, "You know what? It doesn't hurt to send a tape. I'll send a tape and see what happens." So I sent the program director, Brian Stevenson, an audition tape, and got a call. Said, "Yeah, we'd like you to come out for an interview." I interviewed, got the job. I spent about a year in Wainwright, and then after that, I went to St. Paul, Alberta, for another year. Did mornings there, also at a country station. And then at that point, I did take a little bit of a break because I really was considering going back to school. I moved back home to Edmonton. I was out of radio for about 8 or 9 months, I guess. And then I decided, no, I enjoy this. This is what I want to do. And sometimes you need that distance from something to realize how much you appreciate it, I guess. And that's kind of what I did with my break in radio. I kind of took a moment to reassess and go, do I want to do something different or do I want to continue on? I decided I wanted to continue. So I heard about an opportunity at a new station in Cranbrook, FM country station. So I applied. I got the job, and I've been in Cranbrook ever since. That was in September of 1995. 2 years ago, I did switch companies in Cranbrook, and I came to Vista Radio and Today FM. I took an opportunity as program director and midday host, and that's what I've been doing. And we're also, you mentioned Creston as well, Nigel. That's part of one of our stations that I'm responsible for, Juice FM in Creston. We have a host in Creston, only one employee on the ground in Creston, but I look after him. I meet with him a couple of times a week. I go out there a couple of times a month. But yeah, that's kind of what I do, and yeah, love doing it.
Why do you do what you do?
Wow, good question. I love radio. I've always loved broadcasting. I love the fact that we're able to connect with people. And when we do it correctly, people tell us how much we mean to them. When it comes to promoting an event where maybe somebody is fundraising for somebody that has cancer, it could be a kid, or it's a situation where, you know, um, a community event raising funds for some sort of building that's going up in town, or whatever the case may be. When you get behind these community events and then people tell you how much they appreciate your support, really does, uh, hit you in the heart. I think it's really impactful that you're able to help people and communicate with people. A phrase, I don't know if I took this from somebody. People have been giving me credit for it recently, but I like to say that radio is about connection, not perfection. And I think it's all about connecting with people, meeting them where they live, and impacting them with things that are going on in the community. And that's really what's important to us here at Today FM, is to really get out there and promote what's going on in the community. And that's a big part of what I do. It's why I do it. Um, it's that situation that you can benefit a family, you can benefit a group, you can benefit the community at large, and help people in the community that you live. And that's the most important thing. Anybody can play music. You can get music, anywhere these days. You can get music on your phone. There's literally hundreds of streaming options, but actually talking to people about events going on in your community, and the importance of those things that are happening. I think that's why I continue to do it after all these years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Um, why did you choose Steve Russell as your on air as your
Oh,
on air name?
okay. Well, that's a very simple question, and I can give you a pretty easy answer on that. I wasn't going to be known as Steve Russell. Literally minutes before I went on the air, my first radio job, I had a person say to me, the guy that was on before me, say, "What's your name?" I said, "Oh, Steve Schutz," and he said, "Schultz." I said, "No." He said, "Shoots?" I said, "No, Schutz." He said, "I don't know how to say that." I said, "How about Steve Russell?" Russell is my middle name. So it just seemed a lot easier to pronounce. So I've gone with Steve Russell for my entire radio career.
That's interesting. These days, I think nobody would have a problem with a last name called Schutz, right?
Yeah, probably not, but just Russell seems to be easier for people to say. So yeah, I just went with that, and still part of my name and part of who I am. So it just seemed like an easy fit when I was getting into radio many moons ago. So.
Hmm. Okay. What were your struggles in your early days of being a radio DJ, and how did you get through it?
Uh, well, I guess probably one of the struggles would be just being away from home. Uh, I was from the Edmonton area, all my family there. And then I moved to Peace River, which was about 4.5 hours away. So it wasn't super easy for me to get back home. I'd take holidays and stuff, and my parents would come up and see me. But I think that's what you struggle with initially when you get into broadcasting. Although it's a little different now. I think maybe there's more opportunities if you go to school in Edmonton or Calgary. It used to be back in the day that you'd have to go to a small town, maybe Peace River or Swift Current, Saskatchewan, or any number of small communities that might have a 1,000-watt radio station, and that's where people that start out in broadcasting kind of get their start. I think it's a little different now. There's more opportunities. There's more opportunities to do what you do, Nigel, like podcasting and that sort of thing. That didn't exist when I got into radio back in 1988. But at the end of the day, I think that's what I struggled with the most. I mean, financially, there's issues. I mean, we weren't rock stars back in the day, so we weren't making a ton of money. But you do what you need to do to kind of get through it. And I would say that was probably the biggest struggle, is just being away from family and kind of meeting people and developing a friend group in these different communities where I moved to. So that was part of the early struggles. But I think there's something comforting about being on the air and feeling like people are responding to the things you're saying. So that certainly was that helped the loneliness, I guess, at the end of the day.
Mhm. Nice. Okay. Okay. How did you come to know that radio is the right place for you?
Well, I think it was just what I felt comfortable in. It just something that I enjoyed, and I think we talk about this as broadcasters quite a bit. We talk about the fact that we're introverts that want to be extroverts, I guess.
Okay.
Um, so we like the anonymity of maybe not being seen but being heard. That's kind of one of the nice things about radio, I think, maybe for a lot of people. But that's obviously changing now with social media and everything else, and podcasting, and we're incorporating more digital content into what we do on a daily, monthly, yearly basis. It's becoming a bigger part of what we do in radio. So there's certainly that. Um, yeah, I think that's why I love radio. It's just that connection to people, and the fact that I can go on the air and I can talk about something, I can crack a corny joke or say something, and then literally the next day somebody will say, "Oh, Steve, I can't believe you said that, man. I nearly drove off the road, or I spit my coffee up, or whatever the case may be." So yeah, I think I realized early on that radio was something that I wanted to do and continue with, and like I said, here I am, 38 years later. It's basically been the one constant in my life. It's been practically the only job I've had for my majority of my adulthood, I guess. But I can't honestly imagine doing anything else.
Cool. Okay. What is one thing you believe about radio when you started that you eventually realized is completely wrong?
Oh, good question. One thing I believed about radio that was completely wrong. Well, I guess maybe one of them would be that I might have had the misconception that maybe there was going to that I this would be something that I would be um, getting rich at, which again, I've been comfortable, and I make a good living, and I don't have any complaints about that. But I think when you see, the perception is early on that you maybe meet some people, or you see some people driving a fancy sports car, or you know you know, fancy jewelry or whatever. And maybe that is the perception of how the industry works, and that's not exactly correct. But again, I think there's a lot of people that do a lot of different jobs because they love them, not necessarily because um, they're making a ton of money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think if something makes you happy, ultimately the money will figure itself out. At the end of the day, I've done things on the side. I've had side hustles and side gigs, and I have a DJ, wedding DJ business that I operate, and that certainly has helped out. and my wife works, and so we're taken care of as far as that goes. So I mean, that might be the one thing. I don't think there's any. I think I went into radio with my eyes open pretty much for the most part. So I don't think there was anything that I kind of thought was true and then turned out not to be true. But that might be the one thing, that I kind of saw some people, some of the Edmonton area radio personalities, um, doing quite well for themselves, and I thought, oh, that would be nice to have that kind of a lifestyle, and that's okay. I didn't necessarily get to that level, and that's okay too. I enjoy what I do. I have a great family. I have a great group of coworkers here, and that works for me at the end of the day. So.
That's nice. And seriously, oh, DJ wedding business. Tell me about that.
Yeah, no, just something to supplement the income a little bit, and I just get out there, and if people are having a wedding reception, they can book me, and um, yeah, I got speakers and I got a computer with music on it, so yeah, just bring the party to wherever people are having a wedding reception, and I think I've done that now for maybe close to 15 years, something like that. Yeah,
Mm.
since 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
Do you also do MCs?
Yeah, I MC quite a bit of community events and different functions that go on. So yeah, I've done that. Um, as part of the radio station, but also in my role as a wedding DJ and stuff. I've gone out and emceed stuff. So yeah, a lot of live events, and that's a little different than being behind a microphone in a studio. Obviously, when you have a live crowd, it's certainly a different dynamic. So that's something I got used to. Uh, it's kind of funny. You're on the air and you do that for a bit and you think, oh, okay, that's great. I'm kind of getting the hang of this. And then you do your first live event and you get maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 500 people out in a studio audience, and you go, oh, okay. Everybody is looking at me now like this is okay. This isn't a, this is a different thing. So, yeah, it's something different to get used to, but I enjoy it. I've emceed lots of different concerts over the years, and that's been fun too. So.
Hmm. What kind of community events does the radio station promote, and where you present there?
Well, we do lots of different community events. We've promoted Coldest Night of the Year Walk here recently. That's one that I kind of got behind when I first came to Today FM. Just kind of trying to help out with the homeless situation. We just did a cystic fibrosis walk this past weekend, so promoting for that. Just a myriad of other community events. We have a big yearly festival called Spirit of the Rockies that we get behind, and we're going to be there at the kickoff pancake breakfast. So yeah, and some of the surrounding communities like Creston, you were mentioning Creston. Creston has Blossom Fest that just happened a few weeks ago. So we like to get out to any sort of community gathering. We'll have our station vehicle there. Sometimes we do community reports that we file on the radio station, social media posts, that sort of thing, and just getting the word out about what's going on in these different communities.
Right now, it's tough for people these days to find jobs. If they want to go the same path as you, what are the things they can do right now to practice?
Well, I think doing what you do, Nigel, is a good way to start. I think podcasting is a good way to go. There's still many great broadcast schools out there doing incredible work in prepping broadcasters for the future. There's Nate, there's Sate, Lethbridge Community College, I believe, has a radio program still. Many Ryerson, if you go east. but there's many of them across Canada that do great work when it comes to broadcasting. And I might add that they're also incorporating podcast programs at these different schools. So that is certainly, it just shows you how podcasting has grown over the last few years. So lots of opportunities for people. And again, it's just practice, right? Like I tell one of the young broadcasters I work with at our station in Creston, I say, it's just about cracking the mic. How many times do you go on the air, and then you times that by how many times you're on, per week, per month, per year. It's just that repetition. You get better the more you do anything, right? It's the old adage, you need to do something 10,000 times to become an expert at it, and that's kind of the way it is with broadcasting. The more you do it, the better you're going to get, and the more you have that discipline that you want to get better. If you want to get better, you're going to put in the hours, you're going to put in the time, you're going to devote that extra effort to really improving your craft, and that's where it's at. It's like you can tell people what to do to get better as a broadcaster or a podcaster for that reason, but at the end of the day, you have to want it yourself. So if you want to get better, you're going to put in the time, you're going to put in the effort to do it. You'll find a way. And even like I said, even doing things like emceeing events and DJing weddings, those are ways to kind of get your foot in the door in kind of a roundabout way when it comes to broadcasting. And don't take no for an answer. I mean, like I said, sometimes there's gigs you can do for free that give you the opportunity to get in front of a microphone and do things. So there's lots of opportunities for people, and there's lots of ways to kind of get involved. And I think if you really want it, you'll find a way to do it.
Nice. Okay. All right, we still have time. Do you think people who only finished high school can still have a career as a DJ, and what can they do to get in?
Well, I think, like I said, I think there's lots of great post-secondary schools that offer programs, radio programs. Um, but like I said, I also, yeah, sorry. Oh, I thought I
Nothing,
heard you.
nothing. There's just one of beeps. I don't know why it's happening on my laptop, but it's all okay. Go on.
Okay. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, I think there's lots of opportunities for people to get involved in broadcasting if that's something they want to do. Like I said, there's schools that you can get 1 year, 2 year programs in broadcasting. I think most of them are 2 year programs. But at the end of the day, I've worked with people that have not had any broadcasting experience either. So I think, again, like I said, it's looking for the opportunities that exist. And sometimes those are traditional opportunities, and sometimes they're non traditional opportunities. I think there's lots of different ways to get involved and get an opportunity. Um, One of the ladies that's a sales rep here at Today FM, she actually just volunteered at her campus radio station in Lethbridge, and we have her doing our evening show. So she didn't really have a formal training in radio, but she sounds great on the air, and we've incorporated her into the programming day here at Today FM. So, like I said, I think you have to look for lots of different opportunities, however they may come. And like I said, I think especially with podcasting too, there's probably opportunities for podcasters to get involved into the traditional broadcasting world, and from that experience as well.
What does the work you do right now mean to you?
Well, it's very rewarding because I love my work day on a day to day basis because I get to be on the air, which I still enjoy doing. Um, talking to people over the radio, but I also get to do stuff behind the scenes. I get to work with young broadcasters. I get to work with some experienced broadcasters that actually have more experience than I have and have been at it for like 40, 45 years in some cases. So that's a really good training ground for me to realize that, you know, I have to kind of treat the people that have a lot of experience differently than the people that don't have very much experience. So you have to learn how to deal with those two different groups of people. So that's been very good. And yeah, it's just been fun. It's doing a lot of computer work, music scheduling, um, different reports, meetings. I'm part of a company that has 71 other radio stations. So a lot of the other program directors, we have meetings together, discuss what the company is doing. Um, so yeah, it's challenging, but I enjoy it, and it changes every day. So that's been part of the fun of what I've done over the last couple of years, is being involved in programming and kind of seeing a different part of the radio station, I guess. That I kind of, I did mornings for many, many years, and that was fun. But after you do that for a bit, getting up at 4:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning doesn't quite have the appeal anymore as you get a little more advanced in age. So I'm kind of happy that I don't have to do that. We have a morning guy here that loves doing it, and he does a fantastic job. He's really embedded in the community and loves promoting community events. So I let him do that, and like I said, I like doing the other stuff behind the scenes. I like helping out our staff the best I can, and that's what I do on a day-to-day basis, I guess.
Nice. Okay, let's see. Okay, I guess one last question before quick fire. How will radio continue to be important in this changing times?
Great question. I think radio has to be viable in Canada by talking to people in their own community. I think anytime that you try to program out of one hub to, I don't know, dozens of different communities, I don't feel like that works really well. I think if you talk to people in our individual communities about what's happening there, about things that affect their lives, that's where radio truly resonates. I think, I think again, at the end of the day, I think radio is best when it's almost a one-to-one conversation, or at least it feels like a one-to-one conversation. And I think, telling people about what's going on in the community and reaching out and really affecting as much change, or just getting the word out about things going on. I think that's really where radio is effective. Like I said to you before, I think there's many different ways to get music if it's just about music, but I think if it's about talking to people, and I think that's really where radio is the most effective, is really communicating to people in individual communities. And I think that's what radio does best at the end of the day. So I think that's what we have to do as broadcasters moving forward in 2026 and beyond, that is have that ability to really talk to people in our individual communities. And we have a big listening area here from Fernie, Sparwood, the Alberta border there. We go up the Columbia Valley, Invermere Radium, to the Moye area in the south. So it really is a big area, Cranbrook, Kimberley. So, you want to talk about things happening in those communities. And I think, again, that makes people feel important, feel like, oh, this guy cares about what's happening here. So that's what I feel is going to be effective for radio moving forward. If it's just going to be somebody talking out of a central location, broadcast in dozens of markets, I don't know how that's effective. I think again, it's fine. I get that some of that has to happen, but I think ultimately for radio to be truly effective, you got to have people in the community that are living in the community and experiencing what's going on in that particular part of the world. So
That's nice. Thanks. And before we end this episode, let's do a quick fire. Hold on, I forgot to put on a 90-second timer here. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Here we go. Are you ready? Answer questions quickly in under 90 seconds.
sure.
Here we go. Okay. One word to describe yourself.
Tall.
Mm. What is your best radio DJ tip?
Sorry, you cut out there for a sec.
What is your best radio DJ tip?
Oh, enunciate.
Mm. Uh, Best artist you love to listen to?
You too.
One everyday item you can't live without?
My phone.
Mm. Mantra in life.
Happiness.
Best place in Cranbrook for a good meal?
Oh boy. Lots of them, but I would say, hmm. Oh, you put me on the spot here. I'll say the hideout.
Mm. Haida. Best place in BC to go road tripping or travel?
Oh boy, we have so many good spots. I love the Creston area. We have a place called Fisherville here just outside of town, which is basically right up a mountain. I don't think I could boil it down to one, but those are a couple that I like.
Okay. Again, Steve, thank you for coming to the meetup spot. Let's do a screenshot. All right, here we
Yeah,
go.
thanks, Nigel. Enjoyed it.
All right. Before we go, do you want to do a Zoom screenshot?
Sure. I don't know. How do I do that?
That's okay. That's okay. Just look at the camera, I guess.
Okay.
Here you go. Again, thank you, Steve. Any last thoughts or comments?
I don't think so, Nigel, but you did a great job. I enjoyed the interview, and thanks for checking in on my background and go Oilers, I guess.
Go Oilers, no matter what. Yeah, yeah. And again, thank you for coming, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Nigel.